The year was 2478. In a quiet corner of the galaxy, a sleek alien ship moved through the black sea of space. The ship belonged to the Zarthan Empire, a powerful and old civilization known for exploring uncharted systems. The ship, called the Seeker, was on a mission to map distant regions far beyond their known borders. For days, they had found nothing, just silence, empty planets, drifting rocks. Then something strange happened. A signal appeared. It was weak, buried deep in static, but clearly artificial. The signal came from a system marked Dark Zone on the Galactic Council's star maps. That label meant danger. Long ago, the Council had warned all species to avoid this region. No explanation was ever given, just a simple rule: stay out. Captain Virak, a calm and experienced leader, stood on the command deck. He stared at the strange signal pulsing on the screen. "Where is it coming from?" he asked. The communications officer replied, "Unknown source, Captain. It's bouncing off gravity wells. It's not just a signal, it's searching." Virak frowned. Searching for what? Nobody answered. He turned to his crew. Set course toward the source. Full shields, stay sharp. As the ship approached the Dark Zone, its lights flickered. Systems lagged. The crew looked nervous. Even the AI voice changed, becoming slower, glitchy. "Something's watching us," one technician whispered. Suddenly, the ship's main screen went black. Then, without warning, a voice echoed through the speakers. "This is Earth Defense. Command, identify yourself." The entire bridge went silent. Captain Virak's eyes widened. What is Earth?" The communications officer quickly tapped at controls. "Sir, we didn't send any message." "How did they detect us before we saw them?" More lights flickered. The radar spiked. Then it happened. 5 massive ships appeared on their sensors. No warning. No entry detected. Just there. The alien crew gasped. These ships were not like anything they had seen. Their shapes were sharp, aggressive, almost like they were built for war alone. Their energy readings were off the charts. But the strangest thing, the Zarthans couldn't see them with their eyes. Only the sensors showed them, and the sensors were shaking, confused. "Stealth field penetration detected," the AI finally said. "Unknown vessels, threat level, maximum." Captain Virak took a step forward, stunned. These ships, they were hiding in plain sight. He said. The human ships didn't move. They just hovered there, silent, waiting. Captain Virak spoke slowly. "Try sending a peaceful message. Tell them we come in peace." As soon as the message was sent, one of the human ships turned toward them. It activated something. The Zarthan crew shouted as their ship trembled. Lights burst. Screens went black again. "They're scanning us." "Deep scans. Our systems are wide open," someone cried. Virak clenched his fists. "Raise full defenses. Prepare to retreat." "No good," the weapons officer yelled. "They've locked our drives. We're frozen." Another voice came through. "This is your final warning. Turn around. Do not return." The voice was calm, cold, not angry, just certain. The alien crew looked at their captain, waiting for his order. Virak whispered, almost to himself, "How are they doing this? We are more advanced, or so we thought." He looked again at the human ships on the glitching screen, still unmoving, still silent. But he knew they could strike any second, and if they did, there would be no escape. He opened the emergency channel. "Zarthan Command, this is the Seeker. We have made contact with an unknown force. Origin, Earth. Their power is beyond current analysis. Repeat, do not enter the Dark Zone." Suddenly, one of the human ships moved again. Not forward, not sideways. It vanished, then appeared behind them. Within seconds, all 5 ships were now circling the Seeker without making a sound, without disturbing space. "They're toying with us," Virak said, his voice low and dry. His hands hovered over the controls, uncertain. "Fight? Flee? Talk?" Before he could decide, the AI spoke again. Human ships locking weapons. The crew gasped. Virak shouted, "Evasive maneuvers. All power to shields." Nothing moved. The engines wouldn't start. The weapons wouldn't charge. The screens showed only one thing now. The word, "observed." Virak's heart pounded. "What do they want from us?" he whispered. No answer came. Just silence. Asterisk the Zarthan ship, the Seeker, escaped. Barely. As soon as the human ships turned away, their systems unlocked. Engines came back online. Power flowed again. Without waiting, Captain Virak gave the order, "Get US out." Now, the ship jumped to light speed, heading back to Zarthan space. No one spoke during the journey. The crew sat still, eyes wide, minds spinning. They had never seen technology like this, never felt so powerless. When the Seeker reached the Zarthan homeworld, it was met with full escort. The story had already spread. A first contact, unknown species, extreme threat. Captain Virak was taken straight to the High Council. The council hall was large, cold and filled with top leaders of the Zarthan Empire. They sat around a long black table, listening as Virak shared everything: sensor logs, audio, files, visuals, and his personal report. When he finished, the room was silent. One counselor laughed. "You expect us to believe that 5 ships, just 5, disabled the Seeker with no weapons fired?" Virak looked at him and replied, "They didn't need to fire." Another counselor spoke, this one older and wiser. "The logs are real. I've reviewed the scans. These humans moved faster than light without using warp. They used stealth beyond our sensors. They jammed our systems without leaving a trace. This is no joke." Still, many were not convinced. "It could be a trick," one said. "Maybe Virak's." Crew panicked. Another added, "Maybe it was AI interference," a third suggested. But then the high technologist stood up. His name was Tovar. He was not military. He didn't speak often. But now, he looked worried. "We tested their signal," he said. "It broke through our encryption systems in 0.4 seconds. That's impossible. Even our best AI needs 11 minutes. He paused, looking round the room. "This is not a new species. This is something different." That changed everything. The council decided to act. They sent a second mission, this time. Not just one ship, a fleet. 30 warships, armed with the strongest tech the Zarthans had. Each one carried elite soldiers, scientists, and high-ranking officers. Their mission: investigate Earth, confirm the threat, and if needed, contain it. The fleet entered the dark zone a week later. Nothing happened at first. No signals, no contact. The Zarthan ships moved slowly, scanning the area, searching for the phantom ships from the reports. Then, something strange happened again. All their long-range sensors went dark. At the exact same moment. Not broken, just offline. A cold silence filled the ships. "Switch to backup systems," one commander ordered. But the backups were gone too. The fleet was blind. Suddenly, a ship on the edge of the formation vanished. No explosion, no noise. It just blinked out. Gone. Another ship followed. And another. Panic spread. Captains shouted. Orders flew. Full shields, scatter formation, track any movement. But it didn't help. One by one, the ships were picked off. Silent, fast, clean. Only 10 ships remained when a voice came through the main channel. "This is Earth Defense Command. You were warned. You entered restricted space. You ignored our signal. This is not war. This is control." The voice was the same as before, calm, cold, confident. The Zarthan commanders shouted into the channel, demanding a reply, begging for terms. But there was no answer, only silence. Then the remaining ships were surrounded. The same 5 human ships appeared again, still calm, still quiet. One human ship transmitted a visual image. It showed a symbol Earth, blue and white, a single line of text beneath it: "Observe, understand, do not return." Then the image faded. The human ships vanished, and the rest of the Zarthan fleet was allowed to leave. When they returned home, they brought a message with them: not just data, not just logs, but fear. The same council that laughed before now looked pale and shaken. They reviewed the new sensor data ships that couldn't be tracked, weapons that didn't leave a mark, technology that worked outside known physics. One counselor whispered, "What if we are not the dominant ones anymore?" No one answered. A quiet warning began to spread across the stars. Stay away from the dark zone. Do not go near Earth, because something lives there, and it watches. Always. Far from the Zarthan Empire, on the edge of the Milky Way, Earth watched. Deep inside Earth Defense Command, Admiral Reyes stood in the control chamber, surrounded by glowing screens and silent officers. She had just received the report another alien fleet had crossed the line, but it was already over. 10 alien warships had returned home. The rest were gone. Reyes took a deep breath. Did we send the message? Yes, Admiral, her aide replied. The same warning, same signal. They got the point. Reyes nodded. Good. No further action. She turned to the tall window behind her. Through the glass, hundreds of human warships hovered in Earth's upper orbit, silent, still, waiting. Humans had learned the hard way centuries of war, disasters, and near extinction. Earth had faced rogue AIs, biological collapse, asteroid strikes, and worse. They had been weak once, but not anymore. Now they were ready. Always. Back in the control chamber, Commander Hale walked over. They're scared, he said. The Zarthans, you can see it in their flight patterns. Good, Reyes said softly. Let them stay scared. She knew what came next. The Zarthans would report back to their galactic council. The larger galactic powers would listen. Some would be curious, others would feel threatened. A few would plan to attack. It didn't matter. Earth had seen this pattern before, and Earth had prepared. In a hidden base below the surface of the moon. A separate team was watching, not military scientists, engineers, strategists. They reviewed alien movements in real time, watching the galactic reactions like a game of chess. Dr. Elijah Cross, head of Earth's Strategic Threat Division, smiled. They don't understand, he said to his assistant. They think this was about ships, firepower, speed. The assistant looked confused. Isn't it? Cross shook his head. No, we've already won. The moment they stepped into our zone, we mapped their systems, scanned their tech, and copied their data. We know them better than they know us. That's the real weapon. He looked at the screen again. A small dot blinked. A new alien signal, this time from a species called Varnek. Not allies of the Zarthan, but close. They're watching us now, Cross added, trying to decide if we're gods or monsters. The assistant didn't answer. He didn't know which one was true either. Meanwhile, deep in space, a secret Earth scout ship hovered near the edge of Zarthan space. It was cloaked and detectable. Its job was simple: listen, observe, learn. Inside, 2 agents sat quietly, tracking communications from the alien homeworld. Councils in chaos, one said. They don't trust each other. Some want peace, some want war. Others are just scared. Let them talk, the other replied. While they argue, we get stronger. The ship turned slowly, drifting away into the stars. Back in Zarthan space, the council was in emergency session. Leaders shouted across the chamber. Some demanded action. Others feared extinction. They're too dangerous, one yelled. We must form an alliance. Strike now while we still can. They didn't attack us, another argued. They let us live. That means they want peace. Or they're studying us, someone else said. Learning our weaknesses. The room fell quiet. The high technologist, Tovar, spoke again. Listen. Carefully, he said. They defeated our best ships without touching them. That wasn't luck. That was strategy. Patience, intelligence. He paused. This species, humans, they don't move like us. They don't think like us. They are faster, colder, and they are watching everything. Then what do we do? Someone asked. Tovar looked around the room. We don't provoke them. We don't enter their space. We don't threaten them. He leaned forward. We listen. And so, across the galaxy, a strange silence spread. Not peace, not war. Just caution. No one dared to send another fleet into the dark zone. No one wanted to risk Earth's attention again. But still, deep inside Earth's defense grid, the watchers kept watching, quiet, focused. Because they knew this was only the beginning, and the galaxy was just waking up. The Galactic Council met in full session for the first time in over a century. Representatives from more than 40 advanced civilizations had gathered in the Great Dome, orbiting the twin stars of Erelon. Each seat was filled. Nervous eyes, tense voices, and unreadable expressions. The topic was clear: Earth. Whispers of fear had spread like wildfire across the stars. 2 fleets had gone into the dark zone. Only one came back. The data recordings were terrifying: ships vanishing, systems frozen, Enemies who didn't speak unless it was to warn. Aliens who struck without sound and vanished without trace. Now, the council had to decide what to do. Ambassador Relith of the Zarthans stood at the center of the chamber. His voice was calm, but firm. We did not provoke. We did not fire. Yet, we were neutralized, not destroyed, not captured, just controlled. That is power we don't understand. The Varnic delegate hissed, "You brought this on us. You poked something that should have stayed buried." A diplomat from the Saran Dominion tapped her clawed fingers on the table. "We cannot allow one species to control a whole sector. If we let this go, others will rise and follow." Relith turned toward her. "You misunderstand. These humans, they don't want territory. They don't want trade. They didn't demand anything. They just wanted us gone." Another voice echoed across the room. "It belonged to the Makari, a machine-based race. They let you live. That is not mercy. That is calculation." The room fell silent again. In the shadows of the chamber, a small group of representatives met in private. These were the old powers, the Core Five, who had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years behind the scenes. They were not interested in open debate. They were planning. The leader of this group, a thin being with glowing eyes called Zyron, spoke first. "We can't afford to wait. This Earth, this humanity, must be tested further, not another fleet." Someone replied, "We've already lost too much." Zyron nodded. "No, not warships, not weapons. Something smarter." The others listened. "We will send a diplomatic probe, a test, one they don't expect." Back on Earth, in a secure chamber deep beneath Antarctica, Admiral Reyes received a new report. "A probe is entering the edge of the system," her aide said. "Not military, not armed. Just a small diplomatic package. It's broadcasting." "Peace." Reyes raised an eyebrow. "Let it approach, but only to the Cooper belt." She pressed a button on her desk. "All stations, activate passive scan grid. I want a full breakdown of this thing before it gets within 1 billion miles." The probe drifted closer, slow and steady, repeating a simple message in over 100 languages. "We come in peace. We wish to understand you." Reyes smiled slightly. "They always say that," she whispered. As the probe reached the outer skin line, Earth's network came alive. Dozens of hidden satellites turned their attention to it. Its data was sliced, copied, pulled apart in milliseconds. Inside a control room at Titan Station, human technicians watched in silence. "There's a hidden layer in the signal," one said. "Encrypted, military grade." Another added, "and a microscopic drone buried inside the probe casing. Organic, self-replicating, camouflaged to pass as a scientific sensor." Reyes listened without blinking. "They're not just here to talk," she said. "They want to know how we respond." She stood up. "Let's answer them." The probe stopped moving, not destroyed, but completely shut down. Every circuit inside had been wiped, not damaged, not hacked. Clean. And a single message was sent back to the Galactic Council. "We see you. That was your second warning. There will not be a third." Across the galaxy, the message caused panic. Some thought it was fake. Others thought Earth was bluffing. But most especially those who had seen what happened to the Zarthan fleet believed every word. Back on the Zarthan homeworld, Captain Virak watched the news feed alone in his room. He remembered the cold silence of the human ships, the way they circled the Seeker like predators, without fear, without effort. He whispered to himself, "They never wanted war, but they were never afraid of it." And in that moment, he realized something terrifying. Earth didn't see the galaxy as an opportunity. They saw it as a threat. And they had already made their choice. To remain in the shadows. To prepare. To be ready for whatever came next. Far beyond Earth's orbit, deep in the black space between stars, something massive was moving. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a station. It was something in between. A hidden platform the size of a small moon, wrapped in layered cloaks and artificial shadows. It was called Project Iron Sky, Earth's most powerful defense system. No alien had ever seen it. None knew it existed. Until now, inside the command center, Admiral Reyes stood before a wide window, watching the distant stars. "Status report," she said. Her chief engineer replied, "Iron Sky is online. All systems green. Weapon grid charged. Quantum array is sensed. Target tracking complete. Good, Reyes said. We wait. At that same moment, thousands of light years away, the Galactic Council was splitting apart. The failed probe mission had shattered trust between the species. Some accused each other of pushing too far. Others feared Earth was preparing for a first strike. In secret, 5 powerful species met again. This time, not to talk, to act. They built a joint fleet, small but elite. Silent ships, built for deep space infiltration and stealth. No markings, no open transmissions. Their mission was simple: approach Earth silently, scan iron sky, and leave without being seen. They believed it was possible, but they were wrong. The moment they crossed into the outer edge of Earth's detection zone, iron sky saw them. Not just their ships, but their energy trails, their navigation signatures, even the slight gravitational ripples caused by their engines. Reyes got the alert. They're here, her aide said. Unknown fleet. 17 vessels, massed approach. They think we don't see them. Reyes didn't smile. She didn't panic either. Let them get closer, she said. Iron sky stayed silent. Watching. Waiting. The alien fleet reached the asteroid belt. That's when it happened. Without a sound, 5 objects launched from iron sky, small, needle-shaped drones no bigger than a car. They moved faster than light, jumping between gravity points like stones skipping across water. One by one, the alien ships went dark. No explosions. No screams. Just silence. Then Earth sent a signal 1 second long: leave. Now, only 3 ships remained. They turned and fled. Earth didn't chase them. They didn't need to. The message was clear. Back at the Galactic Council, chaos exploded. The 3 returning ships sent full reports, data logs, sensor recordings, communications. None of it made sense. The drones that attacked them couldn't be tracked. They didn't give off heat. They didn't show on radar. They didn't even appear in real time. Only after reviewing memory logs did they appear like ghosts. One commander described it best: they weren't just fast. They were waiting. Like they already knew we were coming. Panic spread. Dozens of border worlds across the galaxy changed course. Fleets were recalled. Secret projects were frozen. Some governments even sent quiet envoys to Earth begging for dialogue, for peace, for understanding. But Earth remained silent. It didn't reply. Inside Titan Station, Dr. Elijah Cross reviewed the alien fleet's retreat in real time. They're scared now, he said. The smart ones will keep their distance. The rest might try again. His assistant looked at him. Should we make contact? Cross shook his head. Not yet. Let them wonder. Let them doubt. Meanwhile, on Earth, public news networks never mentioned the alien ships. Civilians lived normal lives. Kids went to school. Workers went to jobs. No one knew that a war almost began that day. That was by design. Reyes walked into a private meeting with Earth's Global Council. She reported the incident in short, simple words. They came. They were seen. They were warned. They ran. No celebration. No ceremony. Just facts. One counselor asked, should we respond officially? Reyes replied, no, we don't need to show our power. They've already seen it. And with that, the meeting ended. Earth went back to watching. Learning. Waiting. But far across the stars, in the cold heart of the Saran Dominion, a new plan was forming. The Council's warnings had failed. The stealth missions had failed. Even their spies had disappeared. Now, a darker idea was taking root. A full strike. Not to win, but to test Earth's limits. To find out at any cost what humans were truly hiding. In the cold, dark chambers of the Saran Dominion, plans were being written in secret. The Dominion's leader, High Strategist Keln, sat in a war room surrounded by generals and scientists. Their voices were low, their eyes sharp. They've humiliated to fleets. One general said, our best stealth tech failed. Our probes were exposed. Our signals were silenced. Keln spoke calmly, and still, they said nothing. Another advisor leaned forward. That silence is the loudest part. Keln looked at a glowing map of Earth's region now marked red. No species dared to enter it. No trade routes passed through. Even smugglers turned away. This isn't just defense, Keln said. This is control through fear. She paused. We need to know what we're really dealing with." While others prepared weapons, Keln turned to something else: information. They captured a Zarthan officer, one who had faced the humans up close. They brought him into a dark chamber, sat him down, and asked just one question: "What did you feel when you faced them?" The officer was silent at first. Then he whispered, "Hopeless, like we were prey. Like they had already seen everything we would do." He leaned forward. "They didn't just win. They let us live. And that's worse." Back on Earth, the story was very different. No one outside the highest level of command knew how close the galaxy was to war. But some people did know, and they remembered. In a deep research facility buried under the Alps, a quiet man sat alone in a room full of screens. His name was Ethan Vera. He was not a soldier, not a politician. He was a historian. But his job was special: to study how humanity had survived everything the galaxy didn't know. He reviewed old files: World War III, the fall of the Megacities, the rogue AI uprisings, the resource collapse, the Mars colony rebellion. Each time, Earth had nearly died. Each time, humans adapted fast, brutal, and without mercy. Ethan spoke into his recorder. "We survived extinction 5 times. Not because we were strong, not because we were united, but because we refused to lose." He paused, staring at a screen that showed old footage: humans fighting with bare hands against machines, hacking satellites in orbit, launching ships from burning cities. That's what they don't understand. It's not just our weapons, it's our nature. We don't fear the end. We prepare for it. In orbit, Iron Sky expanded. Not with new guns, but with new eyes. Human AI systems were now watching every known species from afar, studying movement patterns, fleet paths, signal types. Earth didn't need to invade. They just needed to watch long enough to know what their enemies would do before they did it. Meanwhile, back in Saran Dominion space, a new meeting began. This time, not with generals but with Xenop psychologists, alien scientists who studied species behavior. One of them, a tall, thin creature with a glowing head, said, "Humans are dangerous because they're unpredictable. Not random, just unbound." "What do you mean?" a Dominion officer asked. "They don't follow patterns. Most species avoid pain, avoid risk. Humans, when cornered, run toward it." Another added, "They turn fear into strategy, chaos into growth." They pulled up historical files gathered from old transmissions, wars that lasted generations, civil conflicts where both sides kept fighting, even when the planet was falling apart. Colonies that lost contact with Earth then reappeared decades later, stronger, harder, colder. The aliens stared at the screens in silence. "They don't just survive war," one whispered. "They become better because of it." That's when the realization hit them. If Earth had already faced extinction and won, then the galaxy wasn't scaring humanity. It was waking it up. Back on Earth, Admiral Reyes stood at the edge of a launch deck as new ships took flight. Sleek, silent, built for things far beyond defense. She looked at her aide. "Status of the outer systems?" "Stable, quiet. But there's chatter. They're preparing something." Reyes nodded. "Let them. We've already learned what we needed." Her aide paused. "Mum, if they strike first," Reyes turned. "We don't respond. We finish." And with that, she walked away. The Galactic Council was breaking. News of Earth's quiet power, unmatched control, and silent technology had spread to every star system. Some species panicked. Others began building fleets. A few disappeared entirely, going dark and hiding behind their own borders. But the Saran Dominion did not hide. They moved in secret. They built a weapon-to-strike fleet unlike any before. Not just warships, but mind-tech hybrids designed to resist Earth's electronic disruption. Ships with artificial brains that could rewrite themselves during battle. Their plan was simple: attack Earth's outer stations, draw a response, and test its limits. They wanted to trigger a real fight. They wanted to see what Earth would do. But Earth already knew. At Titan Station, Admiral Reyes stood in front of a holographic display. The Saran fleet had just left hyperspace, approaching the outer Kuiper belt. "They want to provoke us," her officer said. Reyes stared at the red dots on the screen. 23 ships, fast, modified, heavy armor. She tapped her finger once. "Activate." Black net. Across the system, dozens of silent satellites came online. These weren't weapons. They were Watcher's deep-scan probes built with predictive AI. They didn't wait for orders. They anticipated. The Saran fleet didn't know it, but from the moment they entered the system, every move they made was being copied, analyzed, and predicted down to the last engine flicker. A few minutes later, the Saran commander gave the order to fire. Missiles launched toward an old Earth relay station on the edge of the system. But before they reached it, before they even crossed the halfway point, something happened. The missiles stopped, frozen in space. Their guidance systems turned off. Their warheads disabled. No explosion. Just silence. Then the human ships appeared. Only 3. But they didn't open fire. They didn't even move forward. They simply transmitted one signal: leave now. You are not ready for what comes next. The Saran ships tried to retreat, but one of their own ships exploded from the inside. A system overload. No human weapon had touched it. The ship simply collapsed. The Saran commander panicked. He sent a full retreat order. Engines roared. The fleet turned. But as they jumped to hyperspace, every single ship received the same transmission. An image of Earth. Not now, but long ago. Burning cities, flooded coasts, wars in the streets, mushroom clouds rising, fire, collapse, rebirth. And then silence. At the bottom of the image, for words, we have seen worse. Back on Earth, the message had already been received by the Galactic Council. They called for an emergency summit, not in a public chamber, but in a hidden, secure vault. This time, the humans were invited. A single representative arrived. She wore a simple black uniform. No guards, no weapons. Just confidence. She stepped into the chamber and looked at the leaders of 40 worlds. Some powerful, some old, some broken by fear. She spoke only once. We don't seek war. We don't want territory. We want one thing. The room was silent. She continued, leave us alone. Let your kind grow. Let ours stay quiet. But if you come for us again, we won't defend. She paused. We'll end it. One of the counselors asked, are you threatening us? She looked at him and said, calmly, no, we're promising you peace. You decide the rest. That was the beginning of a new chapter in galactic history. Not an alliance, not a surrender, just an understanding. The Treaty of Shadows was signed a week later. Earth would be left alone, its borders untouched, its systems unchallenged. In return, Earth would not expand. But everyone knew what it really meant. Earth had won without war. Not because of ships. Not because of weapons. Because of fear. Because humanity had faced extinction more than once and survived. Because Earth didn't just fight to win. It fought to never lose again. And far beyond the stars, as alien fleets returned home and the galaxy tried to breathe again, humanity remained where it had always been. Quiet. Prepared. Watching.